How much do you really need to buy your first home? Most people think it's like 20 or 30 grand. I've helped numerous people buy for a fraction of that, and today I'm gonna show you how. But before I get into it, I have to do a quick disclaimer. I know somebody's gonna say, oh, this is such a terrible idea. Oh, Michael, you want people to go broke. Listen, guys, everybody's situation is different. Everybody's comfort level is different. So what I'm doing here is just literally explaining like worst case scenarios, like how much do you really need to get your foot in the door? But obviously you're gonna make your own decisions, and I want you to talk with your lender and you figure out your comfort zone before you do any of this. And the real reason I wanted to make this video in the first place is because the real problem is that people wait on the sidelines for years saving up some magical number that they think they need when they can really get their foot in the door sooner and start building that equity faster than they could even save the money up. Okay, so I'm going to use a $200,000 house as an example. I've helped multiple people do this from anywhere from like 150 up to 250, 275 or so. But I feel like for a first-time home buyer in the Clay and Platte County area, 200K is going to be a good example for us to use. So step one, you're going to want to make sure you get pre-approved and that you qualify for down payment assistance. So we're going to be using a 0% down program. Here in Missouri, we use MHDC a lot, but depending on where you're at, each state usually has something that they do to help first-time home buyers get their foot in the door. Once you're approved for a down payment assistance program, once we find the right house, we're going to write an offer with a 1% earnest money deposit. And I'll save, what earnest money deposits are for a different video, but basically it just shows the seller that you are serious. And so on a $200,000 house, we're looking at about a $2,000 earnest money deposit. Also, when we write that offer, we are going to ask the seller for 3% of the purchase price in seller paid closing costs. Once our offer is accepted, you will need some money for inspections and appraisals. You're going to be looking at maybe $1,000 to $1,500 for both of those. And after that, if everything goes smoothly, then we move on to the closing table. And with that 3% in seller paid closing costs, plus your 0% down program that you got approved for, you're basically going to bring nothing to the closing table. And I've had it happen multiple times where my client actually gets refunded their full earnest money deposit, or bare minimum, at least some of it. And so to answer the question, how much do you really need to get your foot in the door and buy your first home? You're looking at about 1% of the purchase price, plus maybe $1,500 for inspections and appraisals. And guys, just a reminder, I am not saying to use your last penny to close on the house. This is like talking about like a house fund, and hopefully you also have somewhat of an emergency fund over here just in case something happens. And if you're curious to learn more about this or talk through your personal situation, all you gotta do is reach out. I'm always happy to help.